क्रोश संजातः सः स्तेयं स्वादीयतदीपयः कल्पितैः स्तेययोगैः मर्कान् भोक्ष्यन् विभजति सचेन्नाति भाण्डं भिन्नति द्रव्यलाभे सग्रह कृपितो याति उपक्रोशतोकान् संजातः सः स्तेयं स्वदीयति यथा दधिपयः कल्पितैः स्तेययोगैः मर्कान् भोक्ष्यन् विभजति सचेन्नाति भाण्डं भिन्नति द्रव्यालाभे सगृहा कृपितो याति उपक्रोशतोकान्. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace S.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. Our dear friend Yashoda, your son sometimes comes to our houses before the milking of the cows and releases the calves. And when the master of the house becomes angry, your son merrily smiles. Sometimes he devises some process by which he steals palatable curd, butter, and milk, which he then eats and drinks. When the monkeys assemble, he divides it with them. And when the monkeys have their bellies so full that they won't take more, he breaks the pots. Sometimes, if he gets no opportunity to steal butter or milk from a house, he will be angry at the householders, and for his revenge, he will agitate the small children by pinching them. Then, when the children begin crying, Krishna will go away. So, Krishna is both Badmash and so naughty. So, when we also have this naughtiness, basically we are the Amsha of the Lord, we are the Anu and the Lord Vibhu. So definitely we also have those qualities. Purport. The narration of Krishna's naughty childhood activities would be presented to Mother Yashoda in the form of complaints. Sometimes Krishna would enter the house of a neighbor, and if he found no one there, he would release the calves before the time for the cows to be milked. The calves are actually supposed to be released when their mothers are milked, but Krishna would release them before that time, and naturally the cows would drink all the milk from their mothers. When the cowherd men saw this, they would chase Krishna and try to catch him, saying, "Here is Krishna doing mischief." But he would flee and enter another house where he would again devise some means to steal butter and curd. Then the cowherd men would again try to capture him, saying, "Here is the butter thief. Better capture him." And they would be angry. But Krishna would simply smile and they would forget everything. Sometimes in their presence, he would begin eating the curd and butter. There was no need for Krishna to eat butter since his belly was always full, but he would try to eat it, or else he would break the pots and distribute the contents to the monkeys. In this way, Krishna was always engaged in mischief making. If any house he could not find any butter or curd to steal, he would go into a room and agitate the small children sleeping there by pinching them. And when they cried, he would go away. So naughty Krishna. Vatsan munchan क्वचिद समये क्रोश संजातः सः स्तेयं स्वादीयति अतदीपयः कल्पितैः स्तेययोगैः मर्कान् भोक्ष्यन् विभजति सचेन्नाति भाण्डं भिन्नति द्रव्यालाभे सगृहा कुपितो याति उपक्रोशतोकान्. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिस्वरूप दामोदर स्वामिनिति नामिने नमो सद्भक्तमनये मणिपुर उद्भवाय च प्रभुपादलासाद्वानि प्रचार निरताय ते नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादे पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघायते गिरिं यत्कृपातम् अहं वंदे श्रीगुरुं दिनतारिणम् हरे कृष्णा माताजी प्रभुजी वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. So here Krishna is exhibiting his pastimes so beautifully that it appears to be very mischievous activity, but people are the Vrajavasis would smile when Krishna smiles. So the smile is so attractive. Krishna is all attractive and so attractive that he will, his attraction is compared to millions of cupids. So even that is also not sufficient enough to compare. So here great devotees see Krishna as the reservoir of all relationships. So that is how the Vrajavasis, Vrindavan residents are so fortunate, including Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda. So they were basically, Mataji, can you unmute yourself? Mute yourself. Okay, I have done. So they are so fortunate enough. In the previous life, they were Drona and Dhara. And as you are aware of this, when the Brahma has instructed them to go to the earthly planet and then wait for Krishna's appearance. So because they were told by Lord Brahma that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is going to appear and then he will be your son, you will be your son, and then you will be his parents. So this is one of the rasas, Vatsalya rasa. And in the scriptures, there are 12 basic kinds of relationships mentioned, and all of them are present in Krishna. All these are present because the source of everything is Lord Krishna, and Sarva Karana Karanam, cause of all causes, and then a source of everything. He is the source of everything. And Krishna can perfectly reciprocate one's loving propensities. The way we reciprocate, if we come one step closer to Krishna, Krishna will also even come more than one step closer to us. So Krishna can perfectly reciprocate one's loving propensities. In different relationships, also we call it as melos or rasas. So when one engages his senses with Krishna, in the service of Krishna, a relationship can be established. No doubt in this. So in one of the 12 different varieties. Of course, out of these 12, the 5 are direct and 7 are indirect. And generally the bhakti yogis are engaged in this first five, which are direct ways. So, as the first one is Shantarasa or Shanta Bhakta. So, they are engaged in devotional service in neutrality. That means appreciating the greatness of the Supreme Truth. Example, if you see the throne on which Krishna is sitting, so throne is also giving the service, but in silence. This is what Shantarasa. All the paraphernalia. So they are also rendering service. It is, not very palatable to our ears, but the throne is also giving his service in silence. And next one is the Dashyarasa. In the bhaktas, Dashya bhaktas are they are indulging in the Dashyarasa, that mellow. So they are engaged in devotional service as a servant, Dasya, servant. So next one is Sakhya Rasa. The bhaktas engaging in Sakhya mellow, friendship. They are engaged as friendship, as a friend. And next one is Vatsalya Rasa. Like in the bhaktas are engaged in Vatsalya Rasa, they are engaged as parents. And Madhurya, the highest, the topmost transcendental mellow, is engaged, the devotees are engaging themselves as conjugal lover of the Supreme Lord. All the gopis of the Vrindavana, Goloka Vrindavana and Boloka Vrindavana. They are very fortunate. So these are the five basic love rasas. And as mentioned, one can love Krishna indirectly in 7 different relationships. So these are contra, basically these are against. Just like Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, Ravana, Kumbhakarna, Sisupala, Dantavakra. So they are treating the Lord as a enemy. So I want to kill Hari because he has disturbed my tapasya bhanga. When Hiranyakashipu was in deep meditation, deep penances to satisfy Lord Brahma for the boons. So I want to kill him, but out of ignorance, because of ignorance, he doesn't know what Lord is. So this is also one of the relationships, enemy relationship, but this is contra. Prabhupada is saying this is not favorable. The Shastras are saying this is not favorable. These are called vivarta. And these 7 subordinate features of this relationship with the Lord are material humor, that means bhautika hasya, astonishment, vismaya or ascharya. Chivalry is called shaurya. Compassion is what we say karuna. And anger is krodha. Dread is bhaya. And then ghastliness is bhayavahata. That is bhayanakata. Even more than bhaya. And all in all, however, if one simply reposes his dormant loving propensity in Krishna, then his life is successful. Then his life becomes successful. So Prabhupada is very clearly saying that this is not a fiction, but it is a fact that can be realized by practical application. So unless I taste the madhu, the honey, how I would understand the taste of that? So I need to taste that, then only I can understand the taste of this madhu. So then only I can realize how sweet, how madhura, how madhu is so madhu. So this is not a fiction, but it is a fact. We can directly perceive the effects that love for Krishna has on his life. So the more we love, the more the effect we have, and then we also, the Krishna also reciprocates in the same way. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that is why recommending pure devotional service. So the pure devotional service is very much required. And when we say pure devotional service, means there should not be any desire to fulfill one's own material desires. So even no attempt should be made to understand Krishna by experimental philosophy. You can't understand, because in the experiments which are being indulged by scientists, in science we always indulge in experiments. So unless we see the outcome, we don't believe that, which is not possible. Because what I mean to say, experiencing is different, experimentation is different. So both are different. One is experimental, that is top down, bottom up approach, niche se upar tak. So we are doing all experiments and then we realize this. But experiential experiences from top down. We believe, we repose, we depend, and then we experience that. So experiential learning here. So that means there should not be any fruitive activities or any other gains in anticipation. There should not be. When we are rendering our service. So when we experience, then only we'll realize, then only we'll understand. We should not experiment the philosophy of understanding Krishna, which is not possible. So the only desire should be with us is to serve the Supreme Lord favorably. That is what the Lord Krishna desires. He likes, he desires the devotees should come and then serve him favorably. And if Krishna wants something, then we should do it. It's not like Krishna is asking something and then because we have desire for something else, so we should do this. So it is like, suppose a guru is asking his disciple for a glass of water. Then it is the duty of the disciple only to give a glass of water to his guru. But instead of this, if the disciple thinks, oh, Guruji wants a glass of water, so why not I give him something better? Why not a glass of hot milk? Okay, that is not service, Prabhupada is saying very strictly. Because in his consideration, hot milk is palatable and is better than water. But the Guru is asking for water, the disciple should only serve the water, not the milk. That is favorable service. It may be good, but the disciple should not think what in his perspective, but he should only execute what the Guru orders. So one has to understand what Krishna wants in the same way. When there is that intimate relationship, then one can serve Krishna most favorably without any doubt. So if we have no such intimate relationship with the Lord, then we cannot, serve in that mood. So that is why we should take the information of what Krishna wants. Of course, we can't take the information directly from Krishna because we have no such senses. We are not in that situation. We are not situated in that situation. So we should only get that information through the transparent medium who is called the spiritual master, Sri Guru, who should be from the disciplic succession, bona fide disciplic succession. That is Pramanika Guru Sishya Parampara. It should not be like Sukracharya Parampara, where all the demons are following the Guru who is coming from the Sukra Acharya. That means from the Saman. Father becomes Guru, next when he becomes old, his son becomes Guru, and then his son becomes Guru, his son becomes Guru like. So that has no, value, no significance. It is useless as far as scriptural injunctions are concerned. So that is why we should understand what Krishna wants. That too, as we can't understand directly, so we should understand through the transparent medium of the spiritual master. So this is where the significance of spiritual master is. We should approach tadvidhi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaye upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattva darshana. Because he has seen the tattva, he has seen the tattva darshana, he has seen the absolute truth. What the truth which we are seeing, which we are hearing is only relative. But the Guru only sees the absolute truth. That is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Otherwise, everything in this material world is, temporary, and then it may dissipate at any time. So, the Guru can only guide us, the spiritual master. Well, and a Vaishnava, on top of this, will never think, because he is always under the direction of the spiritual master, bona fide spiritual master, that he has a direct relationship with Krishna. He will never think. Example, the best example is the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is establishing that. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, I am the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of 100 times the servant of Krishna. Dasanu, 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 dasa. So in between there are dots. That means many servants are there. We have to agree to this, to become the servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord. So this is the process of disciplic succession. And if one wants real transcendental love of God, then they have to adopt this process. Otherwise, it will be only sahajiya. It will be only externally we are showcasing. So because people do not accept this process, they do not develop real love of God. They think, I am doing chanting, I am doing Vigraharadhana, I am doing Kirtan and all those things, but still Lord is not showing any mercy on me. And I am not getting, forget about mercy, even in the heart, we don't know that there should be love for God. So that love for God is not even sprouting in our heart, unfortunately. Because our mind is so much so polluted and so much so disoriented that we only think about give and take policy. So I am doing this, so let Lord also give me this one. So that is the unfortunate thing. So they speak of God, but actually they do not love God. Because there is no cultivation of pure devotional service, and they only, Prabhupada is very nicely saying, they only love the dog, not the God. So, unless we adopt this principle, then, until then, we can't love the God, we only love the dog. This is the mistake which we generally do. We don't understand what to do, how to do, where to do, when to do. We are in complete perplexity, confusion. So that is why we end up in doing whatever is approachable to us nearly. So somebody is doing, some person is becoming, posing himself as a god, and then all people are going like this, sheep. The sheep are going in a group. So unfortunate. That is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying that if one really wants to love the God and they want the love of God, then one has to follow the process of pure devotional service. Of course, you may think, why? Okay, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, so why I should, give heed to this? No, this is not his own mental concoction. It is being mentioned in the Vedic scriptures, such as Narada Pancharatra and then Srimad Bhagwatam. That is what Srila Vyasadeva, literary incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he has, mentioned all these things. Though he has mentioned, he has compiled all 17 Puranas, but he could not get any satisfaction. When he goes to his guru, Srila, Narada Muni, then Narada Muni chastises him that you have done so all these, materialistic things about Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. But you have not mentioned anything about, significantly about the bhakti. That is bhakti for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. After his chastisement, he takes blessing of his guru, and then he compiles the whole Srimad Bhagavatam. He writes down, because they have been, it has happened already. Then he gets the satisfaction. He himself, he gets placed in the transcendental situation. So we should not go with our mental concoction. We should only go with what the Vedic injunctions, Vedic scriptures are saying, Narada Pancharatra and then Srimad Bhagavatam. So they are very authentic scriptures which are meant for devotees. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu quotes a verse from the Narada Pancharatra. Rishikena Rishikesa Sevanam Bhaktiruchyate. This is the definition of pure devotional service. Rishikena Rishikesa Sevanam. Rishikena means by one's senses. That means we have to use our senses. It is not that we engage only our mind. No, we have to use all our 5 senses plus this mind 6 one. So, but people, unfortunately, they are only indulging in meditation. So they think meditation is thinking, but no one thinks of Krishna. They think of, don't think about this, don't think about that. Let the thoughts flow in, and you concentrate on the sunya. So you focus on all this void, something impersonal. Unfortunately, if someone is thinking of Krishna as prescribed in the Vedic scriptures, this is what the real yoga. So yoga meditation means to focus one's own mind upon the super soul, because we are the soul, the Lord is super soul. So we have to focus on the super soul, because the super soul is the representation of Krishna in the form of 4-handed Narayana, Kshirodaksha Vishnu. But just as people are manufacturing their own bogus religious processes, now in the present days, the so-called yogis of today, they have manufactured their own way of thinking, unfortunately. So, however, we cite Patanjali, but in the Patanjali himself, he is an authority of the yoga system. He prescribed meditation on Vishnu, but we are forced to do meditation on Shunya, void, or something impersonal. But the Narad Pancharatra is saying, that Rishikena Rishikesa Sevana. One must engage not only one's mind but also his senses. So engage all the senses in the service of the master of the senses, because Rishikena is the Lord, the Supreme Lord is the master of senses. So we should use our senses in serving the Lord, the master of the senses. So Bhakti Yoga means to serve with the senses of the Lord, to serve the senses, the Lord of the senses. That means we have to deploy our own senses in the service of the Lord, because the Lord of the senses is Krishna. And we should always remember that we have our senses because we wanted to enjoy this material world, and therefore the Lord has given us a particular set of senses for our enjoyment. Though we came here for the enjoyment, but we are always suffering. Every day, every time we are suffering, either in the process of holding the responsibilities of household activities, office activities, societal activities, and so on. So the Prabhupada is giving an example. The hog has a particular type of body and senses, because the hog wanted to enjoy eating stool. And when the tiger, in the earlier life, the living entity wanted to eat flesh, in the next life, it has got the tiger form. And so a man similarly has a particular type of body and senses because he wanted to enjoy something else. So we have a particular set of conditioned senses with which to enjoy this material world. So, but if we understand the process, and somehow by the mercy of the Lord, then we will undergo the purificatory process. That is the devotional service. We need not to go for any atonement process. Atonement, prayaschita. Prayaschita is not required in Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga, only rendering the devotional service to the Supreme Lord is the actual, essence. So we have to understand that one. And our senses are original, but now they are covered by the whole material desires, because we are so much so conditioned in this material world, with the mode of all the 3 modes of material nature. So we could not come out of this. So when one's senses are no longer inclined toward the material sense gratification, one's status will be elevated to the pure devotional status. So, to come to that, we have to purify our senses. And when the senses are purified, then we can engage those senses for the pleasure of the master of the senses, that is Rishikena. The Krishna is the master and the proprietor of the senses. Therefore, as we are a part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, of course, everything is coming from Him. So our senses are also borrowed from Him. So they are on rental basis. So we are using our senses on rental basis. And the best thing is to use these senses for His sense satisfaction and not for our own satisfaction. This is the process of pure Krishna consciousness. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also giving an example from the Srimad Bhagwatam about the example of pure devotion. So, Krishna is situated in everyone's heart as a Paramatma feature, as a Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. Therefore, just as rivers flow and their natural tendency is to reach the sea always, so in the similar way, as soon as one hears the glories of the Lord, his soul is at once attracted toward the Supreme Lord. This is the beginning of pure devotional service. So, it starts with Shravana Kirtana Smarana Vandana Pada Shevana Dashare Pujana Sakijana Atma Nivedana. So, right from Shravana to Atma Nivedana. So in the process, it may so happen we may be able to follow 1 or 2 or 3, not all 9 Navavidha Bhakti. So, but that is fine. At least we start with that. And when we start with the chanting, as soon as there is a chanting vibration, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, if we do this, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, immediately Krishna's paraphernalia, Krishna's name, Krishna's fame, Krishna's abode, Krishna's associates, everything, all of a sudden become manifested within his heart because the Lord is present. So this is the beginning of one's Krishna's consciousness. We have to start with the chanting process. For that, we should hear Shravana. To remember by reference to a context means that as soon as one hears a code word, one at once remembers all the information behind that code. So you keep some codes, try to memorize, and you keep a keyword. Once you remember the keyword, the whole story gets unfolded when you write exam. So you try to remember few codes, like few keywords like keywords. Code means keywords. Similarly, when our minds are attracted to Krishna and everything about Krishna simply by hearing a little glorification of his qualities, his code word is, the code is that the key is his qualities hearing about, that is the beginning of the pure Krishna consciousness. Then there is no more gati or movement of the mind. So that is how all the devotees are indulging in the pure devotional service for the pleasure of Lord Krishna. So, especially the gopis, as soon as they heard the sound of Krishna's flute, they would give up everything in the same situation as they were. And then, sometimes they were lying down, sometimes they were working in their family affairs, sometimes they are taking care of the children. But as soon as they heard Krishna's flute, they would forget everything and rush to him. That is the relation. That is the attachment, attraction to the Lord. We can have attraction to the Lord, attachment to the Lord, but not attachment to our friends, family members, and so on. Because if we get attached, like we may need to take birth in the next life, and may not be human form, maybe dog life, cat like, and anything else. But if we get attached, that attachment will get remembered at the time of death. So that is very important thing. So here gopis, whatever the activities they are indulged in, But at once they heard the flute, Krishna's flute, they would forget everything and then rush to him. Even their husbands, their brothers, their fathers, and so on. Then they would ask, "Hey, why are you leaving and going without executing your duty?" But they did not care. They simply left. And there is no impediment and no stumbling block in that merge of the mind with Krishna. This is the beginning of pure devotion. So right now, we may not be in that situation, but you will understand, because you know some information, you know this knowledge, you will realize, but only when you experience. You execute, then you experience. So this is the beginning of pure devotion. We would understand whether our devotional service is in the pure devotion, pure mode or not, by having the apparent information of all these things. So there is no ambition or motive in pure Krishna consciousness. The only motive is, the only ambition is to serve the Lord to his best satisfaction. And every other transcendental function or mode of worship is backed by a motive. Someone wants salvation, someone wants material prosperity, someone wants to go to a higher planet, someone wants to go to Krishna Loka. These ambitions should not be there. A pure devotee has no such ambitions. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is strictly saying this. Even a pure devotee does not even desire to go to the supreme abode of Krishna. Of course, he goes, but he has no desire. That is a consequence. But that consequence is not because of his desire, but that is, an automatic in nature. He simply wants to engage himself fully in Krishna's service, either here or there. So, in this regard, a nice example was given by this by Srila Prabhupada. And one day, one Rishi was there. So he was going on his path. Then he has met a prince. Right? A prince means the son of the king. Then on his way he was passing, when he met the prince, the son of a king, he blessed him. The saintly person the sage has blessed him, saying that, "My dear prince, you may live forever." And he moved on, and in the next step, next location, the saintly person has met a sage. Sorry, the sage met a saintly person, the pious person. Then the sage has blessed him, saying that you may either live or die. Then eventually the sage was moving on, and eventually he met a brahmachari devotee. And he blessed him, saying that, "My dear devotee, you may die immediately." And the sage continued to move, and finally he met a hunter. And after seeing him, the sage blessed the hunter, saying, "Neither live nor die." So there are 4 cases. One is the sage blessed the prince that you may live forever. And then the sage blessed the saintly person, you may either live or die. And next, the sage blessed a brahmachari devotee, you may die immediately. And the 4th, he met with a hunter and he blessed him, neither live nor die. So here the point is that those who are very sensual and are engaged in sense gratification, they do not wish to die. So, because generally the prince is having a huge money to enjoy his senses. Therefore, the great says, what he said? He said that he should live forever. For as long as the prince is lived, he could enjoy the life, no doubt. But after his death, he would go to hell. This is what the crux which the sage meant. And when the sage blessed the saintly person to either live or die, that means, why? Because the saintly person is already, is so pious, is a devotee. For during his life, he is engaged in serving the Lord, and even after the death also, he serves the Lord. Thus, this life and the next are the same for the saintly devotee. It doesn't make any difference. That is why the devotees will never worry about the death. They never worry about what will happen after the death. Because either in this life or even in this next life, they still remain as devotee, and in the devotional service is being rendered to the Lord. That is why the sages blessed him, either live or die. Now, when it comes to the brahmachari devotee, who was leading a life of severe austerities and penances in order to be promoted back to Godhead, the sage said that he should die immediately. The reason is so that he need to continue. He need not to continue the hard labor, and could instead go back to home, back to Godhead. So he can immediately go back to Godhead because he is in that platform. And when it comes to hunter, the hunter lives a very ghastly life, bhayankara, bitavaha, due to killing animals. And since he will go to hell when he dies, he is advised neither live nor die. Neither live nor die. These are the 4 examples which Prabhupada has given nicely in one of the classes. So beautiful. So what I mean to say, here we need not to worry about our liberation. We only need to think about how we will engage ourselves in Krishna service fully. Because there are different types of salvation, different types of moksha, different types of mukti. Salokya, Samipya, Sarupya, Saristi, Sayujya. Salokya means the liberation is that I would like to stay in the same planet as the Supreme Lord. Samipya means the residents of the higher planet, the Vaikuntha planets, on the same planet as the Supreme Personality of Godhead is residing. And Saristi means liberation. The Saristi liberation means to have almost the same opulence as of Narayana. And you have the Sarupya means to have the same form as that of Narayana. And Sayujya means you means never be far away, but always to be associated with, that is Samipya, always to be associated with the Lord. And then Sayujya means merging into Brahman effulgence of the Lord. Remember, the devotees will never like to have any of these, muktis or liberations or salvations. They do not accept these various forms of liberation. They only want to be engaged in Krishna service, either here or there or elsewhere. They are not concerned with any kind of liberation, and those who are actually Krishna conscious achieve the association of Supreme Lord, but they do not desire. वो automatically हो जाता है. They automatically become the associates of the Lord. They need not to desire if they are pure devotees. They automatically go to that Vaikuntha planet. They automatically have that Lord's form. They automatically have the association of Lord. They automatically have the opulence of the Lord. They don't desire for that. It is a consequence. They don't desire for this. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying that is how we should render our devotional service. Even a great devotees, Prahlad Maharaj also was offering whatever he liked. He had only to ask for it. Prahlad Maharaj is having, Lord Narasimha has offered him. But Lord Prahlad Maharaj said, my Lord, I am your eternal servant. It is my duty to serve you. So how can I accept any benefit from you? The same is true with Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva was doing so much, austerities to please the Lord. When the Lord appeared, Dhruva is saying, my dear Lord, all my desires are, vanished by seeing at once you. So I have no desires. So that is what the situation of the pure devotional service. So we should also indulge in those devotional service, and all these Vrajavasis, Vrindavana Vasis were so fortunate that they are associating with the Lord directly. So we should also, the final destination may be same, would be same, but in our heart, we should always desire to serve the Lord rather than asking for any of these liberations or muktis or salvations. वत्सान् मुञ्चन् क्वचिद् असमये क्रोश सञ्जातः सः स्तेयं स्वादीयत्ति अतः दधि पयः कल्पितैः स्तेययोगैः मर्कान् भोक्ष्यान् विभजति सचेन्नाति बाण्ढं भिन्नति द्रव्यालाभे सगृहा कुपितो याति उपक्रोशतोकान् ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, Prabhuji's and Mataji's. So, if you have any points to add, any queries, so please feel free to put forward. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for the class.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, your voice is very low.
Yes, Prabhu. Let me see.
Yeah. So, if any points, any suggestions are there, that would be happy to receive those. महाराज नीलांबर महाराज, अगर आप कुछ जोड़ना चाहते हैं प्लीज कृपया कीजिए। एनीवन?
प्रभु दंडवत प्रणाम।
दंडवत प्रणाम महाराज जी। हरे कृष्णा।
तो आपका आवाज जो है एकदम क्लियर साफ है, इतना क्लियर आवाज है।
ऑल ग्लोरीज टू श्रील प्रभुपाद श्रील प्रभुपाद।
ये आपका साधना का परिणाम है। तो हम लोग एक
गुरु जी की कृपा है आप।
तो आप बोले कि हमारा इंद्रियों को भगवान का सेवा में नहीं लगाएंगे तो हम लोग दंडित होते हैं। तो भगवान तो हम लोग को सारी इंद्रिया दिया है, जितना इंद्रिया उनका संपत्ति आप तो अभी बताए
महाराज जी।
हाँ, फिर उनका ही हम सेवा लगाएंगे और सेवा नहीं लगाते हैं तो हम लोग को दंड देते हैं। ये सब क्या है? हम लोग को स्वाधीन दिया है।
यस महाराज जी।
तो हम लोग अभी हम जो दिया वो संपत्ति को हम व्यवहार करेंगे, लेकिन उनका संतुष्ट में न लगाने से हम लोग को दंड मिल रहा है, मारपीट करते हैं। और आप भगवान को कहते हो बहुत बड़ी कृपामय हो, तो इसके ऊपर केंद्र कर बोलिए आप। भगवान को कैसे हम कृपा।
हाँ महाराज जी।
हाँ,
सो वही तो हमारा जो क्या बता रहे थे?
भगवान हम लोग को सारे इंद्रिया सेंसस, he give all the senses, all the ornaments are yours.
Yes,
give as a special independent. हम लोग उसको हमारा व्यवहार लगाए, समाज व्यवहार में लगाए, देश का सेवा में लगाए, हम लोग को स्वाधीन किए हैं। तो हम लोग जब उनका ही सेवा में लगाते नहीं है, बाकी अब समाज में सेवा में, देश का सेवा में लगाते हैं, तो हम लोग को क्यों दंड देते हैं? तो उनका विचार तो पक्षपात मुझे लग रहा है।
तो हम हम इतना कंडीशन हो गए हैं, we are so conditioned that our thought process is also getting influenced by the modes of material nature, sato rajo tamo. But the Lord is in the platform of Visuddha Sattva Guna, the uncontaminated goodness, and on top of that the Lord is giving us the senses, all these senses including mind, but we are indulging those senses in our sense gratification rather than serving the Lord himself. So because we are so much conditioned, we think that the senses are for us, so the senses are for us to enjoy. But when we start enjoying this, there is no end for that, and we continue to strive hard, work hard, work hard, work hard. During the process, we don't get satisfaction. Instead of that, we get frustration. And this is the starting situation of the punishment. And we grossly indulging in societal benefits, family benefits, country benefits, and so on. But nobody will be happy unless their heart is filled with that दिव्य ज्ञान. जो हमारा हृदय दिव्य ज्ञान से नहीं भरा होता है, तो हम हमेशा अपने बारे में ही सोचते हैं, सेल्फ सेंट्रिक हो जाते हैं. We don't become God centric. जब once we don't become, definitely we can't defy the laws of nature, and then when we can't defy the laws of nature, so finally we will get punished by the same laws of nature which are working under the jurisdiction of the Supreme Lord. इसलिए हमें दंड दिया जाता है, और उसकी वजह से हमें दूसरा जन्म में मनुष्य का जन्म तो दूर की बात है, और हम कीड़े मकोड़े भी हो सकते हैं, एंड देन हमें कोई मौका भी नहीं मिलेगा, और 84 लाख योनि में पार करने के बाद ही मिल सकता है. इसलिए हमारा जो भी इंद्रिय है, जो भी सेंसेस है, हमें भगवान की सेवा में लगाना चाहिए, ताकि हमें सब समय, हर बार, हर समय हमें भगवान का ही याद आए. और इस भौतिक जगत में गलती से आ गए हैं, जाने अनजाने भोगने के लिए, लेकिन आने के बाद ही पता चलता है, आफ्टर कमिंग ओनली वी अंडरस्टैंड दैट वी आर suffering here rather than enjoying for which we basically came. So then our life will be, the life will be fulfilled in the sense when we indulge ourselves in devotional service. हरे कृष्णा महाराज जी.
बहुत अच्छा. आप बोले कि प्रकृति ने असंतुष्ट हो जाता है और प्रकृति ने दंड देता है. भगवान का जो शक्ति है, भूत प्रकृति त्रिगुणा माया शक्ति, बहुत अच्छा. हरे कृष्ण.
हरे कृष्ण महाराज जी.
जय जगन्नाथ.
जय जगन्नाथ. All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. Prabhu, Radha Govind Prabhu, so we can conclude today's session.
Yes, sir. We can conclude.
वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः.
Thank you, Prabhu. Is this Rangeswar?
मैं एंड कर देता हूँ.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you all the devotees.
जय श्री प्रभुपाद की जय. श्री प्रभुपाद महाराज की. हरे कृष्ण. हरे कृष्ण महाराज. धन्यवाद. प्रणाम.
हरे कृष्ण.